Melissa.
I'm Allison.
And I'm Danny. And BBTV rocks.
BBTV. Yeah, I mean, am I not allowed to cuss?
Damn it.
We can be.
I'm not gonna say that.
Hey bitches, so if there's one thing I can talk about way too much, it's the Millionaires. And by talk about, I mean defend. I defend those girls and their whole career with my life, okay? Because as a member of the DGAF Till We Die crew since 2010, I feel compelled to. So this podcast series, or whatever you want to call it, is going to be split up into 3 parts. The first part that you're listening to right now is going to be like their lore and how they started. Yes, I know you can Google it, but again, as someone who has been here since 2010, I think there's just things that I remember that I have nowhere else to talk about. So I'm going to talk about them here. And then part 2 is going to be in defense of the Millionaires, which, spoiler alert, that's why this is called Why Do People Hate Fun? Because literally the Millionaires were unserious and fun, and they were just having a good time. And of course they had haters, because there's always going to be haters. If the Millionaires taught me one thing, it's there will always be haters no matter what you do. And then part 3 is just a little fun thing, which is going to be me recapping Allison Green's Instagram live that she did 2 or 3 years ago, because I thought it was so fun and so funny, and it really made me happy, okay? So key players in this group include Melissa Marie Green, aka the founder of the Millionaires, essentially, her younger sister Allison Green, and their friend Danny Arto. I hope I'm saying that right, Danny, if I'm not. I am sorry, but I never knew how to say your name, so that's why for the longest I was just like, that's Danny Gore. Like, she's not Danny Gore anymore, she's literally Snowblood, but I'm like, I was always like, yes, I understand that she's Snowblood now, but to me, she will always be Danny Gore, not because I can't let it go, but because literally I don't know how to say her last name. So if I'm butchering it, apologies in advance, and if you know the correct pronunciation of her last name, please help me out in the comments, because I really do want to know how to say it. The year is 2025, and I want to stop calling her Danny Gore. Thank you. Now, here's the thing about the Millionaires. All 3 of them were scene queens in their own right. Melissa was Melissa Millionaire, but then she became Melissa Marie because, I don't know, she never really said the lore, but there's that.
You know, a porn star actually, her name is Melissa Marie. Yeah, so when you type it up, it has like all these pictures of me, and then thrown in is like this like naked girl.
Then we have Allison, who went by Alice in Wonderland, which honestly, the most iconic scene queen name ever, because, and this is not shade to Melissa, I promise, but like everyone else was just like going by their first and middle name, and like that was the thing that they did. Or like Danny Gore, they'd be like so-and-so murder, gore, like shit like that. But Allison had an advantage because obviously Alice in Wonderland, like that is iconic. And I love it. And then we have their friend Danny, who went by Danny Gore, which to me, she owns Danny Gore. Like, I can't see her as anybody else. Because she could have been like Danny Destruction, Danny Destroyer, you know, shit like that. Because they loved alliteration. The scene queens loved alliteration. But Danny Gore just, it hits. It's perfect for her. So yeah, that's the recap of who the Millionaires are. The lore is, basically, before I get into the lore, I just want to say shout out to the Millionaire's mom, because if there's one person to thank for all this, it's literally Teresa Green. How? Why? You might be wondering. Well, I'm about to tell you. So the year is 2007, and I want everyone to just remember what 2007 was like. And so the year is 2007, and Melissa and Allison's mom decides to get them an iMac so they can work on school. So on August 14th, 2007, Melissa and Allison decide, hey, I think we should finally use that Mac that we kind of have just sitting here. And they're, you know, drinking, having fun, messing around, whatever. And so they open the Mac and they use this GarageBand thing. And they're like, I don't even know what this is. Like, what are we doing? But then they also were like, well, I mean, we have to put something into GarageBand so it works. So they write a song called I Like Money, right? They write a song called I Like Money, unserious. Because money, diamonds, golden ice, and bling bling bling, I like money are some of the lyrics, which should just prove to you how unserious and how like this was just a fun little thing that they did not know where it was gonna go. Because damn did these girls take it seriously, and that's one of the things that I love the most about them. Like, girl, they never gave up. They said, fuck the haters, we don't care, we're not giving up just because people tell us We Suck, We Can't Sing. Also, spoiler alert, shout out to Melissa for releasing her song Honest as a solo artist, and there's literally a line that says, drunk bitch can't sing. Like, yeah, she capitalized the hell off of that, and I love that for her. So anyway, back to the lore dump. So Melissa and Allison, August 14th, 2007, they decided to create a MySpace called Millionaires because they need a place to upload this song called I Like Money. Now keep in mind, Melissa and Allison together probably have like a billion MySpace friends because again, they're both scene queens. And this is just the two of them. Like, Danny has not entered the picture yet. But as the story goes, I believe Danny literally the next day got asked, hey, do you want to be in this group that me and Allison are starting? And she was like, yeah, okay, cool. Sounds good. I think that's how it happened. I don't know. I wasn't there. Anyway, so the working titles for their first EP, consisting of 5 songs, were La La Love, Girls with Guns, or Shit Bitch. But eventually it was renamed to Bling Bling Bling. The 5 songs on that are I Like Money, Hey Rich Boy, In My Bed, Talk Shit, and Alcohol. Now, arguably the most famous song on this is Alcohol. People to this day tell Melissa Marie, I know how to spell alcohol because of you. They release their EP and they start performing shows in California, but they only traveled small distances. They weren't, touring. They were doing a lot of festivals, and then they went on their first tour, co-headlining with Breeze Carolina across California and other western states. Later in July, they headlined their own tour called the Get Fucked Up Tour. And then their first real opportunity comes up. MTV calls. They are to perform a song on TRL because there's a segment called On the Radar. A segment where bands that are just starting out come to perform and get, more publicity. Unfortunately, the Millionaires are very not television friendly. They are not. So both of them and Danny, shout out to Danny, can't forget her, are scrambling to figure out what song they're going to do because 70 million% of their lyrics are explicit and they will be extremely censored. So these girls are in a pickle. They have to figure out a song. So they finally decide on I Move It. Unfortunately, these girls are still teenagers. So every time they mess up, they're like, oh, fuck. Do it again. Oh, shit, do it again. So they're cussing. Just regular teenage stuff. But the MTV producers are like, girls, can you tone it down? And they're like, we actually can't. Like, I think we're stuck like this. So yeah, they get through the performance. And then other opportunities for MTV start showing up. In my opinion, the biggest being, and the one I remember the most, is Hey Rich Boy being the theme song for MTV Teen Cribs. So in February 2009, they go on their Just Got Paid, Let's Get Laid tour, which sold out every stop. So at this point, they got their fans. There's people on MySpace being like, come to Bakersfield. They probably went because that's in California, but come to Chicago. Come to Indiana. Like, people were asking them to come. On June 23rd, 2009, they released a new EP called Just Got Paid, Let's Get Laid, which had 3 songs from Bling 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 and 2 new songs. During the early days, the group were often wrongly cited as crunkcore. I still don't know what the hell crunkcore is, but yeah. But they're electric pop. And then, that same year, they released a Christmas song called Rated Xmas. Now, in 2010, this is where I enter the fandom. So, in late 2009, they get signed to a record label called Be Unique, and a debut album was set to be released in 2010. Spoiler alert, that album would not come out, and their debut album happened in 2013, so they had to wait a little while longer. The single Stay the Night was released in early 2010 to promote the upcoming album, which never happened, and they went on 2 UK tours to further promote. Here's where things get kind of tricky and kind of complicated. The MySpace, quiet. No updates, no promotional stuff, no anything. But they do announce that Danny is leaving the group in 2010. From what I remember, it was mainly because she was like, I don't like all this traveling and I don't like being away from home and it's just like, it's too much. Which I understand because imagine starting like this little group in your friend's house and like now suddenly you're on tour and you're never home and you're just like traveling a lot and you're like, this is not what I signed up for. Like, I thought this was, like, she didn't know that it was going to turn into this, you know what I mean? So then they get dropped by their label in the UK, and then the album just never happens because they just got dropped by their label. But Melissa and Allison regroup and they decide, okay, we're going to take 5 songs from what was supposed to be on the album and Stay the Night, because that's like the song right now, and they put it on an EP called Cash Only. Amazing EP. One of my faves. Hi, this is me from the future. So basically, I forgot to mention that after they do the Cash Only EP, they still continue to tour. They continue to, do that. But then we can time skip to 2012, where they announce, hey, guess what? We have a new single that's actually going to be part of our actual album that's going to be called Tonight. So the first single, Drinks on Me, banger. Oh my god, the music video where it's literally them, quote unquote, making fun of intervention because they have a lyric where they're like, you won't see me on intervention, straight A student, honor roll, sneaking vodka in detention. Oh my god. Legendary, iconic, show-stopping. So, yeah, that's what happens here. I just kind of forgot to mention it. But yeah, that is a big part of their lore is Drinks on Me, released in 2012. On May 15, 2012, their mixtape, Your Girl Does Party, was released on a website called DatPiff, which I obviously downloaded, and fun fact, that mixtape was my introduction to Krayshawn, so thanks, girlies. Appreciate that. Then on March 13th, Melissa and Allison finally released their debut album called Tonight. Then they went on a promo tour for the album from April through June 2013, which, fun fact again, I was there. I went on their tour bus. Melissa gave me Sharpie tattoos. Allison and I talked about Lana Del Rey because it was 2013. That's what you did. Oh my god, most amazing like 20 minutes of my life because it was a school night, and yeah. Anyway, I also remember that tour because I saw Trey Cyrus like walking because he was the opening act, and I was like, I literally saw him walking and I was like, that's Trey Cyrus. Okay, cool. That album is a banger, and I, to this day, still listen to it, and I'm like, I love that album. My favorite song, if I had to pick, would probably be Boss Bitch, just because it's a time capsule of 2012, 2013. Because remember that meme that's like, that awkward moment when ... when we would all just post that meme? Well, one of the lyrics is, that awkward moment when I'm the only bad bitch in the room. So now we're in 2015, they get cast in the Twisted Sisters season of Bad Girls Club as replacements. And here's the thing about that. So since they were replacements, they only showed up for 4 episodes. And they show up in episode 4 and then they leave in episode 8. Now, when I would watch that, because I watched it live because obviously I love them, so I watched it to support. But I would literally be like doing some other stuff and then I'd hear one of them laugh or like their voices and I'd look up and be like, oh, that's what's happening. Now, on August 14th, 2022, Allison announces that she is leaving the Millionaires to focus on being a photographer. This is a crazy full circle moment because if you remember in the very beginning when I started this lore, the Millionaires started their MySpace on August 14th, 2007. So it literally was whatever you want to say. It was an anniversary of sorts, and it's like, maybe I'm looking too deep into this, but this is a deep dive, so we're getting deep. So yeah, they formed on August 14, 2007, and Allison officially left on, or was announced on, August 14th, 2022. Wow. I'm gonna be honest, this is where they lost me for a little bit. If this is a safe space to confess that, because it was like a weird time, because it was like, well, now what? You know? But I did follow Melissa's solo career after. Shout out to Honest. Again, that song is a bop. Allison leaves. Melissa, like, has Millionaires to herself. And then she goes solo, but then Millionaires comes back. And then again, in a weird twist of fate, Millionaires becomes 3 girls. Melissa, Anissa, and Meredith. But then that girl, Anissa, leaves. So they became 2 again. So now Millionaires is just literally Melissa Marie and Meredith Hurley. Alright, so let's do the Where Are They Now segment of this episode. So I'm going to tell you basically what happened to all 3 of the OG Millionaires. That's Danny, Melissa, and Allison. We'll do them in that order. So Danny now goes by the artist name of Snowblood, and she makes like DJ hyper pop music. I'm gonna be honest, I don't listen to her, so I don't know what it sounds like. Well, that's a lie. I tried listening to her, and like, no shade to Danny, like, love her, but like, that's just not the kind of music I like. So I won't be revisiting. However, good for her. Good for her doing what she likes to do, you know? And I also heard that she does voice acting, so that's cool. Melissa. Now, Melissa is still in Millionaires because right now Millionaires is currently Melissa and this girl Meredith Hurley. I think I mentioned that already. But so Melissa is a tattoo artist. She makes bows. So if you're ever like, I want a bow like Melissa from Millionaires, well, you can click the link in my bio. Tattoo artist, bow maker, legend, icon, solo artist, I guess, maybe, because she had that single. Shout out to Honest, go stream Honest by Melissa Marie. And what else? Well, she's still in Millionaires, so that's pretty much like the wrap up. Like, she's in Millionaires, she makes bows, she tattoos people. So that's cool. Allison. Now, the thing about Allison Green is, and I say this lovingly, so don't be starting fights in my comments. She has lived a million lives, okay? Because when I entered the fandom in 2010, she was just, the girl from Millionaires. Now in 2025, I'm telling you, she's lived a million lives. It feels like she's had a million jobs. It feels like she's that girl from Austin and Ally, Trish, that's always like, guess who got a job at Cupcake City? That's Allison Green. But again, lovingly, I say this, okay? Because why do I remember, somebody please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but like, why do I remember she went to college for graphic design and then I feel like she designed Millionaires merch for a little while? Or did I make that up? Or am I just making like the connection of like, she went to school for graphic design, so obviously she designed the merch? I don't know, but I feel like I kind of remember that. Right now, currently, she is a photographer slash bartender as of her Instagram post that she posted like today. So yeah, that's the Where Are They Now OG Millionaires edition. You're welcome.